What if peace wasn't a getaway, but your everyday life? No traffic, no noise, just quiet mornings and friendly faces. There are still small towns in America where life moves slower, streets stay clean, and stress feels far away. In this video, I'm sharing 5 towns so peaceful they almost don't feel real. Let's begin. Stowe doesn't rush you. It gently asks you to slow down. Tucked beneath Mount Mansfield, Vermont's highest peak, this town feels calm the moment you arrive. Safety first, because peace starts there. Stowe's violent crime rate stays under 40 incidents per 100,000 people, more than 70% lower than the U.S. average. Property crime exists, but remains well below national levels. Evening walks feel normal here. Silence feels safe. Now, the beauty. You're surrounded by nature every day. Mount Mansfield changes colors with the seasons. Smuggler's Notch State Park offers quiet hikes, waterfalls, and scenic drives. Locals spend weekends around Lake Elmore, a crystal-clear lake perfect for swimming, kayaking, or simply sitting still with a view. Even ordinary drives feel cinematic. The air is clean, noticeably clean, thanks to low traffic and strong environmental rules. You breathe deeper without thinking about it. Life here is slow living done right. Vermont consistently ranks among the happiest and healthiest states in national surveys. People greet each other, conversations feel unhurried, stress feels lower. Now, the honest part. Stowe is not cheap. In 2026, home prices average $520,000 to $650,000, driven by limited supply and high demand. Rent runs about $1,800 to $2,200 per month for a 1 to 2 bedroom home. Cost of living sits roughly 15% above the national average. But here's the trade-off. You're buying safety, clean air, quiet nights, and a daily view that never gets old. Stowe doesn't try to impress you loudly. It wins you over, quietly. This doesn't feel like a real town. It feels like a storybook that somehow became real. Carmel by the Sea is famous for its storybook cottages, winding lanes, and white sand beaches that stay surprisingly calm. Carmel Beach stretches wide and clean, with no loud boardwalks, no high-rises, and no chaos. Just ocean air and quiet footsteps. Safety here is exceptional for coastal California. Violent crime in Carmel by the Sea is nearly 65% lower than the national average, and property crime is also well below most California beach towns. It's common to see people walking dogs at sunset or sitting alone on benches, unbothered. That says a lot. The town protects its beauty fiercely. Strict building codes, no chain restaurants, no streetlights in residential areas, and heavy environmental preservation keep Carmel looking the same decade after decade. Nearby Point Lobos State Natural Reserve offers some of the most breathtaking coastal trails in America, with cliffs, turquoise coves, and wildlife everywhere. Living here means nature is part of your routine. Now, honesty time. This peace comes at a price. In 2026, home prices typically range from $1.8 million to $2.5 million, and rent averages $3,500 to $4,500 per month. Cost of living sits well above the national average. But Carmel isn't about affordability. It's about quiet luxury, safety, and living somewhere that feels protected from noise and rush. Some places shout beauty. Carmel whispers it. The first thing you notice in Hood River is the air. Cool, clean, and moving gently off the water. This town sits where the Columbia River Gorge cuts between mountains, creating scenery that feels alive without ever feeling loud. Nature leads the story here. On one side, the wide Columbia River, calm in the morning and glowing at sunset. On the other, forested cliffs, waterfalls, and views of Mount Hood standing quietly in the distance. Trails, orchards, and river paths are part of daily life, not weekend escapes. Now, let's talk safety. Hood River's violent crime rate stays around 45 incidents per 100,000 people, well below the national average. Property crime exists, mostly minor, and concentrated near tourist areas, but residential neighborhoods remain calm and walkable. The lifestyle is peaceful, but not sleepy. People kayak before breakfast, walk dogs along the river, then spend afternoons in local cafes or farmers markets. Oregon often ranks high for life satisfaction, and Hood River reflects that balance. Housing is limited, which keeps things stable. In 2026, home prices average $600,000 to $750,000, while rent typically ranges from $1,900 to $2,400 per month. Cost of living runs about 20% above the national average. The trade-off? Clean surroundings, active calm, and a community that respects nature deeply. Hood River doesn't sit still, it flows. Greer surprises people. Not with mountains or oceans, but with how calm and comfortable it feels the moment you arrive. Let's start with something that matters deeply here: safety. Greer's violent crime rate is about 50% lower than the national average, and property crime is also below U.S. norms. Many neighborhoods are quiet enough that evening walks feel routine, not risky. That sense of ease is real. Now, the feeling of the town. Greer is clean, genuinely clean. Streets are well kept, downtown feels cared for, and neighbors actually look out for each other. People greet you. Conversations feel warm, not rushed. There's a gentle energy here that's hard to fake. The setting helps. Greer sits between Greenville and the Blue Ridge foothills, so you get soft mountain views, green parks, and easy access to lakes and trails without living in the middle of chaos. Lake Robinson and nearby nature spots give residents quiet outdoor escapes anytime. Housing is more approachable than the last few towns. In 2026, home prices average $330,000 to $420,000, and rent typically runs $1,400 to $1,800 per month. Cost of living stays close to the national average, sometimes slightly below. Greer isn't flashy. It doesn't try to impress strangers. But for people who value peace, kindness, and clean living, it feels just right. Spearfish feels like a deep exhale, the kind you didn't realize you needed. This town sits at the edge of the Black Hills, surrounded by towering cliffs, pine forests, and one of the most beautiful drives in America, Spearfish Canyon's scenic byway. Waterfalls like Bridal Veil Falls and Roughlock Falls aren't weekend trips here. They're part of everyday life. Now here's what truly sets Spearfish apart: safety. Spearfish consistently ranks as one of the safest small towns in the U.S. Violent crime is extremely low, often more than 70% below the national average. Many years, it barely registers at all. People leave bikes outside. Kids walk freely. That level of calm is rare. The town is clean, quiet, and grounded. South Dakota regularly ranks high for life satisfaction and low stress, and Spearfish reflects that perfectly. There's no rush culture here. People value space, time, and simplicity. Housing remains stable and reasonable compared to coastal towns. In 2026, home prices typically range from $300,000 to $380,000, and rent averages $1,200 to $1,500 per month. Cost of living stays close to the national average, sometimes slightly lower. The downside? Winters are real. Cold, snowy, and long. But for many, that quiet winter stillness is part of the charm. Spearfish doesn't chase trends. It protects peace. And once you feel it, you understand why people stay. Some places don't just look peaceful. They feel peaceful. Quiet streets, clean air, safer neighborhoods, a slower rhythm that's hard to find today. The towns you saw aren't flashy or loud. They simply offer calm, comfort, and space to breathe. If one of them stayed in your mind a little longer, pay attention to that. It usually means something. If you enjoyed this, subscribe for more peaceful places and realistic lifestyle ideas. Check the links below for simple tools that make quiet living even better. Thanks for watching, and keep searching for your kind of calm.